This is ANN News Brief.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres says the current fight against terror in West Africa's Sahel region is insufficient. He urged donors while speaking at a UN summit on counterterrorism to do more to support military and developmental efforts to stop violent extremism. Recently, the Sahel has suffered an increase in jihadist and ethnic violence, and sometimes a combination of both. A multinational counterterrorism force in the region, the G5 Sahel, has been said to be largely underfunded and failed to counter the threat from groups linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group. Guterres says he thinks there needs to be a change in attitude towards the force and its job, and he wants the international community to care more. This week, the European Union pledged an additional $150 million to the G5 Sahel force, but many other donors have allegedly failed to deliver promised funds. Ugandan government says there have been no more cases of Ebola in the country since 2 persons who had traveled to DR Congo died of the virus in June. A 5-year-old boy and his grandmother were the first cases reported in Uganda since the virus spread over the border from DR Congo. 27 persons were reported to have been in contact with the two, and they were restricted to their homes and monitored for 21 days without contracting the disease. The grandmother had lived in DR Congo, where nearly 1,400 people have died of Ebola. Her husband recently died of this disease. The 5-year-old and his grandmother subsequently became sick and later died. We'll return after this message.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
The Algerian parliament has elected an Islamist opposition politician as its new speaker. The governing FLN party, which holds a strong parliamentarian majority, said it had put the national interest above its own by supporting Slimane Chenen's candidacy. His predecessor, Mohamed Bouchreid, who was a staunch supporter of former longtime President Abdelaziz Bouteflika, resigned last week after months of protests calling for him and other elites in Algeria to step down. That's ANN News Brief. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I'm Lucy Adeyemi.